Proverbs 23, Phase 1. When you sit down to eat with a ruler, carefully consider what is set before you. This is saying, proximity to power requires heightened discernment. Influence always comes with hidden expectations. To put a knife to your throat if you are given to appetite. This teaches restraint is a survival skill. Unchecked desire can cost you far more than you realize. 3. Do not crave his delicacies, for that food is deceptive. The writer is telling us what looks like generosity may be bait. Not all provision is safe provision. 4. Do not wear yourself out trying to get rich. Be wise enough to stop. This means relentless pursuit of wealth dulls wisdom and erodes life. 5. When your eyes fix on it, it is gone, for wealth sprouts wings and flies away like an eagle toward heaven. This teaches money is unstable by nature. Trusting it is a losing strategy. 6. Do not eat the bread of a stingy man, and do not desire his delicacies. This is saying generosity matters more than abundance. A grudging heart poisons even good food. 7. For as he thinks within himself, so he is. Eat and drink, he says to you, but his heart is not with you. This teaches words can lie, but inner posture never does. Character reveals itself eventually. 8. You will vomit what little you have eaten and waste your pleasant words. This means forced fellowship with hypocrisy always ends in regret. 9. Do not speak in the hearing of a fool, for he will despise the wisdom of your words. This teaches discernment includes knowing when silence is wiser than speech. 10. Do not move an ancient boundary stone or encroach on the fields of the fatherless. This is saying exploiting the vulnerable is a direct violation of God's order. 11. For their Redeemer is strong. He will take up their case against you. This teaches God personally defends those without earthly protection. Apply your heart to instruction and your ears to words of knowledge. This means wisdom requires intentional attention, not passive listening. 13. Do not withhold discipline from a child. If you strike him with a rod, he will not die. This teaches loving correction protects life. Neglect invites destruction. 14. Strike him with the rod and save his soul from Sheol. This means discipline is spiritual preservation, not cruelty. 15. My son, if your heart is wise, my heart too will rejoice. This teaches wisdom brings joy not only to God, but to those who love you. 16. My inmost being will rejoice when your lips speak what is right. This means truth spoken outward reflects wisdom formed inward. 17. Do not let your heart envy sinners, but always be zealous for the fear of the Lord. This teaches admiration shapes desire. Fear of God must outcompete envy. 8. For surely there is a future and your hope will not be cut off. This means obedience anchors hope beyond the present moment. 19. Listen, my son, and be wise, and keep your heart on the right path. This teaches wisdom is directional. The heart must be actively guided. 20. Do not join those who drink too much wine or gorge themselves on meat. This is saying excess dulls judgment and weakens discipline. 21. For drunkards and gluttons become poor, and drowsiness clothes them in rags. This teaches indulgence quietly erodes stability and provision. Listen to your father who gave you life, and do not despise your mother when she is old. This means honor sustains generational wisdom and humility. 23. Buy the truth and do not sell it. Wisdom, instruction, and understanding. This teaches truth has supreme value and must never be traded away. 24. The father of a righteous child has great joy. A man who fathers a wise son rejoices in him. This means righteousness multiplies joy across generations. 25. Let your father and mother rejoice. Let her who bore you be glad. This teaches wise living honors its roots. 26. My son, give me your heart, and let your eyes delight in my ways. This is saying wisdom demands affection, not mere obedience. 27. For a prostitute is a deep pit, and a forbidden woman a narrow well. This teaches temptation confines, traps, and restricts life, not just sexually, but in every seductive sin. 28. She lies in wait like a robber and multiplies the unfaithful among men. This means temptation preys patiently and expands destruction quietly. 29. Who has woe? Who has sorrow? Who has strife? Who has complaints? Who has needless wounds? Who has bloodshot eyes? This is asking us to observe the visible cost of indulgence. 30. Those who linger over wine, who go to sample bowls of mixed wine. This teaches destruction often comes through prolonged exposure, not instant collapse. 30. Do not gaze at wine when it is red, when it sparkles in the cup and goes down smoothly. This means attraction precedes addiction. 30. In the end, it bites like a snake and poisons like a viper. This teaches pleasure lies, consequences strike later. 33. Your eyes will see strange sights, and your mind will imagine confusing things. This means indulgence distorts perception and judgment. 34. You will be like one sleeping on the open sea, lying on top of the rigging. This teaches loss of control feels like drifting toward disaster. 35. They hit me, you will say, but I am not hurt. They beat me, but I don't feel it. When will I wake up so I can find another drink? This means addiction numbs pain while demanding repetition. Proverbs 23, Phase 2. Historical and cultural anchorings. Proverbs 23 reflects a culture where meals, discipline, wealth, and family structure carried deep social and moral significance. Eating at the table of rulers was not casual fellowship, but a political and economic act, often binding a person to obligation or compromise. Parental discipline was understood as formative and protective, not punitive. Wine and feasting were common in ancient society, but excess was associated with moral decay and social ruin. The chapter also reflects a covenantal worldview in which family honor, generational wisdom, and restraint were essential to communal stability. In today's context, Proverbs 23 speaks directly to power dynamics, ambition, parenting, addiction, and temptation in all its forms. Eating with a ruler mirrors modern proximity to influence, wealth, or platforms that promise advancement but demand compromise. The warnings against excess apply not only to alcohol and food, but to consumption of pleasure, status, entertainment, and affirmation. Discipline remains countercultural yet essential, as neglect often masquerades as love. The seductive imagery in the chapter applies broadly to any temptation that appeals to the senses, promises relief or gain, and quietly enslaves. Linguistic anchorings. The Hebrew language of this chapter is vivid and sensory. Words describing appetite, sight, smoothness, and intoxication are intentionally evocative, drawing the reader into the emotional experience of temptation before revealing its cost. Terms related to discipline carry the sense of steering or redirecting, not crushing. Parallelism is used to show progression, from attraction to indulgence to distortion to ruin. Modern phrasing preserves this progression while expressing it in language that flows naturally when spoken aloud. Theological anchorings. God is presented as the ultimate protector of truth, restraint, and life. Wisdom is not merely intellectual, but moral and relational, requiring the heart, not just behavior. Discipline is framed as an act of love that rescues from spiritual death. Temptation is exposed as deceptive, never neutral. The fear of the Lord is contrasted with envy of sinners, emphasizing eternal perspective over immediate gratification. God's design is life-giving, while indulgence, apart from Him, leads to bondage. Key themes. Discernment around power. Not all opportunity is safe. Restraint and self-control. Appetite unchecked becomes destruction. Generational wisdom. Parental instruction safeguards the future. Discipline as love. Correction preserves life and direction. Temptation as deception. Attraction hides long-term harm. Addiction and excess. Repetition dulls pain while deepening bondage. Truth as supreme value. Wisdom must be obtained and guarded. Closing thought, Proverbs 23 confronts the lie that pleasure, power, or indulgence can satisfy the soul. It teaches that wisdom requires restraint, courage, and long-term vision. Whether the temptation comes dressed as opportunity, comfort, or desire, the end is the same if discernment is abandoned. True freedom is found not in excess, but in disciplined alignment with God's wisdom. Reflection prompts. Where might attraction to influence, comfort, or pleasure be clouding your discernment? Are there areas where restraint would protect your future peace and freedom? How do discipline and correction function in your life? Are they present or avoided? What truths are worth guarding at all costs, even when compromise seems beneficial?